the floor.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me, and me too. First of all, I want to say that I'm also very, very happy that I've met you, Hyatt, and I know we just start, so this path is just starting. And thank you for everyone who's joining today and with whom I can share what I believe beauty is. So today my topic, as my background is plastic and aesthetic surgery and also hand surgery. But I've learned that medicine, the orthopedic, the orthodox school medicine is one part, but the human being, we as human being, we have so much more to provide. So we have our body, we have the way we look, we have the way we feel, the way we think, and it all goes together. And then there is also, as Hayat already spoke about, the spiritual past, there's also our soul. And I believe what is so important when we speak about beauty, that we become aware of it, that we become aware of what does beauty mean to you? What does beauty mean to me? And the beauty about internations is, as we are all from different parts of the countries, and we live in different parts of the countries which might not be our original country, it is even more interesting to share this view, because one thing is that we grew up in a society and we learned about what beauty is. So if you are like me, I'm Iranian, you have this Iranian background. So most of the Iranians, not all of them, they have brown eyes and brown hair. We have also blue eyes and green eyes, but most of them, so the cliche, let's speak about the cliche. And then they're more smaller people, that's the way Iranian look like. And the society has its own beauty, as this is the way people look like. The same is in Africa or in Latin America. So every society has its own beauty. And then we might travel around or decide to go and live somewhere else abroad, and then we have suddenly we have a different context of beauty, and we realize, okay, so now I am in Germany, and the cliche of a German person is blonde and blue eyes and tall, and it's a totally different aspect of beauty. And what happens is that as we learn what beauty is, being small children, not only by the society, but also how we grew up, it has quite a big impact on what we think as an adult or as a young person, or even, having 15, 50, 60 years old. And so an example is that, for example, if you grew up in your family with your mother and your dad, and you hear, and you have a sister, for example, you're a girl and you have a sister, or you're a boy and you have a brother, and you get compared with your sister. For example, let's make it easy, she has the more beautiful smile, or she's more open just by characteristics, or by the way her body is shaped, by the way she looks like. We subconsciously think, if we get compared with someone, it might also be the friend of your parents' friends, the daughter of your parents' daughter, we subconsciously think that we are not good enough. Someone else is more pretty because someone who loves us is saying that. And I believe this is so important to become aware of, or to find out what your true definition of beauty is. And why I say that is, of course, I'm a plastic surgeon, and changing something on your body is nothing which is bad. It's part of our society. But I believe being aware of, or becoming aware of, what is it really that I believe is beautiful, and who is it really that I want to be and look like. If you become aware of it, I think the path is way, way easier, and it is, let's say, fairer toward ourselves. Because if we learn, and that's what we learned to compare ourselves. It doesn't matter if it is the look, or if it is the cars, or if it is the houses or the professions or what we do, we have learned, everyone has learned to compare her or himself. But if it is about the definition of our beauty, and I start to compare myself with my sister, who looks totally different. This is a true history. My sister is tall, she's skinny, and she's light hair, light skin. And I compare myself with my sister. I have no chance to win because I will never be my sister. I will never look like my sister. I can color my hair and make it lighter. I can try to stay out of the sun to not be tan the way she is, but I will never be her. And realizing that we have subconsciously learned to see what's in the magazines, what is in the in what the society says, what our friends say, that we have subconsciously, even if we don't want to, but we'll take these informations and we do something with the information. Either it is for us the truth or it is not the truth. And then on this, what we decide if we are beautiful the way we are, or if we're not good enough. This is something which is common with, I believe, almost every person and human being, me included. So it is nothing to be ashamed of or to worry about. I think the most important thing is to become aware of it. Oh, this is interesting. And once you become aware of it and you realize, okay, that's true, it's unfair to compare myself with someone else, I will never be. And I just have different, a different upbringing, a different uh, personality, a different look. My body, my bone shape, my muscle shape, everything is so different. Once we have this realistic, or this awareness, let's say it this way, we have a different basis to check on what we want and who we really want to be, what we can improve on ourselves to become the better version of ourselves, and what is possible and what is not possible. So that's one thing I think which is super, super important. The other thing, and I love this example because I believe it is so, so, so true, is that everyone, I believe, here who is watching has been in love once or perhaps many times in her lifetime or his lifetime. And you could be single. Perhaps you remember once you have been single, and perhaps you didn't like yourself. You were looking at your body and you thought you were overweight, and then you would like to change that or that, or you wished you would look like that or like her. And then suddenly you fall in love. And suddenly when you fall in love, you're so happy and you feel so beautiful and you feel so precious. And it's like everything is perfect. Even you're perfect. Although your weight hasn't changed, your body shape hasn't changed, nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is the oxytocin, the hormone of luck, which has been released and is releasing constantly during the period or not period of being in love. So I think this is also a very, very important step to realize that honestly, the beauty, feeling beautiful, as the word says, feeling beautiful, has not so much to do with how we look like, because it is a feeling. Feeling beautiful has not so much to do with how much we weigh or how our body shape is or how old we are or how old we look. It is a feeling, it is chemistry, and it is energy. And I like this example because it shows and reminds us that when we are seeking to change our body to look different, which is okay. I want you to understand that that's fine. But there's a huge difference if you are trying to look different out of the energy of you're not good enough, or when you are deciding to look different out of the energy of you're enough. And the energy of enoughness is the example with being in love, having this oxytocin, this hormone of luck, as I say, in your body released and trying to improve. And sometimes people think when they are not unhappy with themselves, let's say it this way, when they're not unhappy with themselves, when they're not criticizing themselves, they start becoming lazy and neglect themselves and don't care about themselves anymore. And so they believe subconsciously that if they are not happy with themselves, this is going to be a motor for them to improve and keep improving. But then again, I would like to go back to this example of being or falling in love with someone, because usually when you fall in love, you feel full of abundance, you feel enough, you feel happy. And this is exactly the moment where you even dress up more, take care of yourself more, and improve yourself. So I like to unite both parts, as I am a plastic surgeon and I love operating. I love the before and after effect of surgery or Botox or whatever. I I know that lots of people think that it's impossible to unite both sides, to say, this is a plastic surgery, and then there is this other part which says be good enough, be enough, be happy with yourself. This does not work together. And I believe it works perfectly together, because you need to have the basis of loving yourself, feeling good enough, and being happy. And with this basis, improving things on yourself, either with surgery or realizing I don't need that because the oxytocin is enough for me, that makes me happy enough, is a totally different basis to be happy and also be happy with the outcome. I think I've spoken enough so far that you have a little introduction about what I think and believe. And perhaps we could, if you, okay. So that's true. I've spoken about why I became a plastic surgeon. So my path is the one that my parents, both of them, are doctors. My mom was an internal doctor, and my dad is a retired OBGYN, a gynecologist. And I never wanted to become a doctor because I saw my parents work, and they worked a lot. They had their private clinic and the patients were calling in the free time, in the evening, etc., etc. And for me as a child, it was not very convincing to go this path. But when I was 15, my mom had the diagnosis of breast cancer, and life changed. Her life quality changed totally. And with this life quality that changed for her, our life changed totally, because it was all about my mom's disease and about therapy. And either, we were going with her to the doctors, or she was at home and we stayed with her at home. So it changed totally our life. And as a teenager, I already had a quite good intuition. And I spoke to my mom and I said, Mom, can't focus on something good, be happy. She read even the book of Dale Carnegie. I don't know what the English name is. It is Don't Worry, Be Happy, something like that. I don't know the name of the English title. So
That is right. Don't worry, be happy.
So she read that book, and I was like always trying to make her smile and focus on something else, but she was always coming back into her thoughts and thinking and thinking and thinking. And so she continued with her therapy. And when I finished my high school, I had to decide what career I'm going to take. And as the disease of my mom did not become better and did even progress, I thought, okay, then I'll better become a doctor to make it better. And she died after I finished my high school, and I went into med school, and I made the decision I want to become an oncologist. So my aim was being specialized for cancer patient. But when I was about to decide to go for oncology, I did not overcome the death of my mom at that time, and I couldn't become an oncologist because every patient who had lost her hair due to chemotherapy just reminded me of my mom. So I didn't even, I think it was 10 minutes that I was on the oncology department of oncology, and then I went into hematology, focusing on the microscopes and on the bone stems. And I realized it's impossible. But in my last year of med school, what I did is I focused all on cancer. So even the surgical part, I did it at the MSKCC in New York City, which is a cancer hospital. And I did the surgical part in the visceral surgery, and cancer visceral surgery, and also in plastic surgery. And this is where I fell in love with plastic surgery, and I realized, oof, you can change the life quality of your patients. I've seen beautiful operations during that time, and I just knew I want to do that. I first did the surgical part, and then I did the oncological part. So at that time, I thought, I love what they do, but you want to become an oncologist, you continue doing that. But once I realized that I could not dare or stand patients who reminded of my mom, I said, okay, then I become a plastic surgeon. So the decision becoming a plastic surgeon came out of that energy to change the lifestyle, to improve the patient's lifestyle. And I think this is exactly what plastic and aesthetic surgery is about. It is about, we live in this society where we are all good, that we live in this luxurious and abundance of anything. And then, of course, there are these eases which are coming towards us, which we have or we don't have, but if we have them, the life quality changes. Otherwise, if you're a healthy person, you're happy with your life, you want to improve, you try not to look old because you want your lifestyle to improve. And this is what plastic surgery is about. And it doesn't matter if we speak about the reconstructive part or if we speak about the aesthetic part, because it is all about the same thing. It's about a better, improving your lifestyle to something better. And when I think in any profession, whatever you do at the beginning, you're focused on learning and you want to learn, you want to learn, you want to improve, and you go everywhere to learn things. And then suddenly you get into a kind of routine, which does not mean that it's going to be boring, because medicine is never boring. You always learn with every patient. But at the same time, you've got this practice that you do not focus so much on learning things, but you have time to watch and to have a look at your patients and to see the patients. And you always want to improve as a doctor. I think in any profession, you always want to improve if you like your profession. And what then happened is I saw that there's more than just the body which needs to be operated on, or the hand, because I'm also a hand surgeon, which needs to be working again, the function of the hand. There's always the person, the mind and the heart, the emotions of the patient behind, or not behind, which needs to be seen at the same time. And I was a second chief in a hospital when I started learning about leadership, seminars, visiting them, learning about it, learning about communication, and where I realized it is so important how we communicate. Me as a doctor with my patient, but also as a patient with myself. What do I believe? Why do I want this operation? Do I believe when I have this operation? And again, it doesn't matter if it is about aesthetic or reconstructive surgery. Do I want the breast operation after breast cancer? Why do I want that? Do I think when I look like a woman again, my breast is reconstructed and I can wear a top and from outside it looks perfectly, like nothing ever happened? Do I believe it supports me to feel well and get healthy? Or is it something that I do because I think I have to do it? When I think about aesthetic surgery, do I do the breast augmentation or the reduction because I believe it makes me feel more beautiful? And we speak about the feeling again. Or is it something that I do because when I was a child, when I was a teenager, I was the one who did not have any breast, but then I had my friends and all the boys were looking at her and I felt like I'm not good enough. So the questions that we need to ask ourselves as a doctor and at the same time as a patient or even as a family member is what is there behind, what is my reason why I want to do it, why do I think I'm not good enough, why do I think this is going to be a benefit, not to find an error, but just to have clarity on what is the reason behind it. And does the reason, does the desire comes from, as I said prior, abundance of I'm enough and I want to improve, or does it come because I feel I'm not good enough? So that's the reason why I decided to become a plastic and aesthetic surgeon. And that's also the reason why right now I'm doing what I'm doing, uniting the body, mind, heart, and soul medicine, that's how I call it, with the clinical aspects.